I like the vacuum here.
Yeah.
I think this is awesome. What I'm talking about is what you mentioned to me at the Pittsburgh Pro, which is also happening to Derek Lunsford, is a slight expansion on the width of your waist. He is one of the best competitors that we have right now. But the problem is, now you got to deal with Andrew Jack.
Yeah.
You know?
And we said this a couple years ago. I said, this guy, if he ever puts it together.
Athletes and fans around the world, welcome to another episode of Primetime Muscle. I'm Tim Wilkins. Thank you, as always, for joining us. Joined this week by one of the icons of the sport, Dennis James.
Thank you, Tim. Thank you, Tarek, and it's good to be back.
It's always good to have you, your expertise and energy. Tarek El-Guindy, the mega judge, and as they call you on the internet, the guy on the left. Thank you for joining us.
The guy, right here, the guguy on the left.
The guy on the left, facing the other way from the camera.
Yeah. A lot of people mention that, the guy on the left.
Yeah, a lot of people mention that.
Yeah. They all, I love the internet. One day we got to read some of the insults that they give us, right? To teach some of these competitors to just take it.
Yeah.
It's a fictional world there. You know what I mean? It's a fictional world out there. But go ahead, write some negative comments about me. The best negative comment, I might give you a gift.
Oh, I like that a lot. Like, subscribe, share, and as always, comment on the guy on the left to win a prize. So this is better than you sitting in a dunk tank, because normally it's just your voice and energy that they give you trash about. Hopefully you got a little bit more in the tank.
No, they criticize everything about me. They go, that Indian guy is so loud. That guy, they go, the Pakistani guy has a triple chin. Why is he talking about bodybuilding? You know what I mean? We should call ICE on that guy. He doesn't belong here. I get all kinds of stuff, but you know what? I take it on stride.
Yeah.
I take it on stride. I'm here, guys. Okay? I'm here for you. You're angry. You're mad. Your girlfriend broke up with you. Write down a comment about me. Negative. I'll take it. I'm there for you.
Wow. Free therapy from Tarek El-Guindy. All right, guys. We are still talking about the Arnold Classic. And we talked in our previous episode about the number 1 and the number 2. But as someone who was there's of course, depending on who you're a fan of, or how you judge the show from either your seat at the Arnold Classic or from the pictures or the live stream, people had Hadi winning. Hadi Choopan never fails to bring the conditioning.
Yeah, I mean, there's a difference between sitting in front of the stage or watching the live stream. And we argued so many times also on the podcast, because if you're not there, you don't see certain things. And on the stream, certain things just look different. And I got to say, I had Hadi in my prediction. I had him in 4th.
Oh, wow.
Getting on my plane to Columbus. Because I said there's no possible way all the stuff that he's going through, with the war starting, and his family still being there, I think there's no way that this does not mess with your mind. And when you have a show coming up where the worst thing that can happen to you is that body produces cortisol, which makes you hold water, I think he's going to be off, and he's going to be really off for him. That was my prediction, and that's why I had him in 4th. Now, as soon as he walked on stage, I saw that he was not 100%. But keep in mind, I expected him to be completely off, and he wasn't completely off. He was still good, because off Hadi is still better conditioned than most of the other guys. And I was surprised and really impressed of how great he actually looked going through all this stuff with hiding where he's training and nobody's knowing where he's at. I wasn't sure if he's going to show up. So for me, he was great.
Now, he had the same issue last year at the Olympia, where Friday night he was not at his best, although from the time he walked on stage at Friday night's prejudge to the time he finished, he improved greatly.
He got better with each pose, and that's Hadi. We already know. We also know Hadi is Mr. Saturday.
Yeah.
Kind of like Phil Heath was Mr. Saturday. And I kept that in mind when I was watching prejudging, and I saw he getting better and better. And I said to myself, he can win this thing. He can actually win this thing. I said, and if he comes back to tomorrow, which would be the next day, and, nails it, I said, I don't see why he couldn't win.
Guy on the left?
Well, I think Hadi is the most consistent bodybuilder we've had in the last 4 or 5 years, maybe even longer than that. He either wins the show or places second. Now he places third. But and I think he looked great at the Arnold. It wasn't his all-time best conditioning, especially from the back. I thought he could have been a little bit tighter. I do have an issue with the right leg. Seems to be undersized from the left leg.
But he got better, though.
I could still notice.
Yeah, maybe he positioned it a little better.
Here's the rub, a Shakespearean reference for you guys. The other guys are getting better. Nick is bigger now. Nick's conditioning is impeccable at the Arnold. You look at Andrew Jack's back, which was a place that Hadi would just get him there, right? When they turned from the back, you would see Hadi. He was, wider. He had more detail. Now Andrew Jack is surpassing him. The abdominal shot's still great, but now you look at the ab shot from Andrew Jack and you go, that might be the best ab shot. I just feel that Hadi's still great. He's consistent, but other competitors are getting better.
Well, now that's an interesting thing, Dennis, and I want to hit this with you. Now, there's rumors that he retired, didn't retire. It would be a shame if he did, because even finishing in the top 5 in the world, I know he's a champion that demands the best, but top 5 in the world is a decent living. That said, we've talked about this with other competitors. When you max out for your height, and then we've said about some of those competitors, well, they've maxed out their size without compromising lines, and they could bring conditioning. Hadi has always been conditioned. So has he maxed out his size, and now is it time for everybody else, if they come up, that he would naturally fade? Where are you on this?
What Tarek just said is that everybody's getting better. That's not the problem here. The problem was when you had Mr. Consistency, and you always bring impeccable condition, and then all of a sudden you come in less than stellar, it looks like you're way off. This is the first time where Hadi probably looked like he was way off. So people judge you by your last showing. And I think if Hadi would have looked Friday the way he did on Saturday, I think it would have been a little different. But like I said, Hadi, I don't think he has to worry about anybody. I think all he has to do is, if he comes back, be super shredded like he can, and then I think he's still a threat to the title. It doesn't matter what show he enters.
Absolutely. Now, Tarek, let's take a look at this. And I really do hope. I hope this isn't the end of Hadi, because he is, to have a guy that's a constant threat, hop in there, Dennis, that's a constant threat like this, you want this at every show. You want someone to bring this quality and push the other guys to have to be better.
Okay, on the first pose here, Reggie, stop right here. This is already not one of the smallest waists, okay? You can't say that he has a small waist like Andrew Jack, like Samson Dowd. It's not one of the smallest waists. And if you look at the leg, this leg seems to be bigger than this one. I think these are issues that when he won the Olympia were not there. I thought the waist was a little bit smaller and the legs were equal, were balanced. You disagree with me? Go ahead.
Yes, I disagree. I think that Hadi's waist, especially in this pose and in the front double, you can see the V-taper, how wide he is on top and how narrow the waist gets, because he can vacuum, and like anybody else that can vacuum and make the waist disappear. So I don't agree with you on his waist is not the smallest, because his waist is, next to Andrew, probably the smallest waist on that stage.
What about the width of the waist?
What width are you talking about?
Right here. This here is not one of the smallest ones.
So who's smaller? Who's smaller?
I'm going to say that Andrew Jack has a smaller waist. Martin Fitzwater has a smaller waist. I'm going to say that Samson Dowd, who's bigger, has a smaller waist. When he won the Olympia, this was a little bit more in and the legs were balanced. I see what you're saying.
I wish we would have a front double biceps on the first call out so we can literally see them side by side. But anyways, Hadi, in my opinion, is still a threat to win the Olympia if he comes in super shredded. Does he need a little help? Yes, probably. He needs a little help from these bigger guys like Andrew and Samson to be off for him to slip by. But because that's been his issue all these years. He places second at the Olympia, mostly to bigger guys. He lost to Rami. He lost to Samson. So that's his only problem. Now, he would fare better with guys like Derek because they're both on the shorter side, you know. So and to what you said earlier, if he's retired, I don't think he's retired. He never said he was retiring. He was probably a little bit upset for placing third, which I can understand as a Mr. Olympia and as a favorite going into a show. To place third behind someone who never got better than third at the Olympia is probably a little disappointing to him. But he has to understand that the situation he was in, I don't think anybody would have even showed up.
So symmetry aside, you're looking at this pose right here, guys, before we move forward.
That's one of his best poses.
One of his best poses. But I know, Tarek, you're seeing a disparity from left leg to right leg. But he does have his left foot slightly in front of his right foot. So you're going to get that out-angling thing, like when I take a picture with Dennis and I step forward a little to see.
It should be the other way around. He should put this leg up a little bit so he can create a little bit more of an illusion here size-wise. And I think he's doing it. You know, that's just not the best shot right now. But to say that his waist is wide is baffling to me. I don't understand how you can, as a judge, say that.
Well, because if you look at his structure, right? If you look at his structure, and if you put Martin Fitzwater next to him,
then he's going to be outsized by 15 pounds.
Martin Fitzwater next to Derek Lunsford and Andrew Jack, because he's younger, right? He has a smaller waist and a better X frame right now than them. Maybe he doesn't have the size they have, but then again, Derek Lunsford at the Olympia outsized them. He was bigger. Derek Lunsford was bigger at the Olympia and at the Arnold last year. And I didn't see Hadi getting bigger. So I think Hadi's still formidable. He's still great. He still can win the Olympia. But I just think that while other competitors are making improvements, Andrew Jack is getting a better back, right? Martin is coming up. Derek Lunsford, his waist is not getting smaller. That's something I mentioned. But if you look at him at the Arnold, he was a bigger dude now.
Yeah.
Nick Walker, his conditioning is getting better. He's being more consistent. I feel like Hadi, based on his size, he's a shorter guy. If he had the waist that he had when he started, when he won the Olympia, then the V-taper would come a little bit more. Maybe the legs would come. I like the vacuum here. Yeah. I think this is awesome. What I'm talking about is what you mentioned to me at the Pittsburgh Pro, which is also happening to Derek Lunsford, is a slight expansion on the width of your waist. I'm not talking about the stomach coming out. I'm talking about an expansion on the waist. And I see that on Hadi, and I see that on Derek.
Let's roll this forward as you guys talk.
And that is absolutely the case, because if you're not the tallest guy and you put on more size, it's going to happen. It's going to happen to anybody. I mean, if your body is not made to be 250 pounds fat-free.
At 5'6".
Yes. So, and therefore, it's got to go somewhere.
So let's keep going. But when we get to the back, of course, he still didn't have the beautiful fan of oblique. So I do think he was off a bit, a little watery right there.
But that's Friday. So, that's Friday.
So there again, so comparing the two nights, really holding a lot of water in the back again there and not really showing that classic Hadi back. Keep going if you would, please. So you got some ground to make up for Saturday.
Yeah, he was day and night from Friday to Saturday. It was literally a different person. And I expected that. So, but I guess, he was so far behind on Friday that he couldn't make up on Saturday.
Listen, when he won the Mr. Olympia in 2022 against Derek Lunsford, he did not beat Derek Lunsford on the back double biceps. Mm-hmm. Derek beat him on that pose, but he beat Derek on the back lat spread and all the other poses. So you can win a Mr. Olympia by not winning all the poses. Still, here, from the front, his separation is impeccable. And I thought that from the back, Hadi is one competitor. From the front, he's another. I still loved his front conditioning here. I just felt like from the back, he wasn't as lean.
Yeah. All right. Well, I certainly hope, as we just talked about, that this is not the end of Hadi. I really hope we see him back. I hope they're just rumors, because he is one of the fiercest, most consistent competitors that we've got.
He is the most consistent. There's nobody as consistent as him. At the Olympia, if he doesn't win, he comes second place. The reason he's so consistent is his conditioning from the front. He's always peeled from the front. And then from the back, he wins a lot of poses, especially the back lat spread.
Rear lat spread is crazy.
It's very good. He didn't win the back double biceps when he won the Olympia, but still, he is one of the best competitors that we have right now. But the problem is, now you got to deal with Andrew Jacked.
Yeah.
You know?
And we said this a couple years ago. I said, this guy, if he ever puts it together, it's the same thing we said about Samson. If he puts it together, he's going to win the Olympia.
And he
so
did.
now they are both at a point where they can literally be at their all-time best. And yeah, it's going to be harder for Hadi. It's the same thing that I said earlier that's going to be hard for Derek because he's a shorter guy. When you have two giants with overpowering size and mass, it's going to be hard for a smaller guy to beat them, especially if they're on.
Yeah. So we look forward to seeing what Hadi does the rest of the year. He's obviously, as a former Mr. Olympia, qualified for the Olympia. If he lays low, stays in the States, we'll see what he does, and we hope the absolute best for Hadi and all of his millions of fans around the world. Guys, coming up after the break, we're going to talk about the surprise at the Arnold Classic. And in my mind, if I'm on the same wavelength as you guys, it's going to be a competitor who keeps improving and keeps pushing other competitors, both literally and physically. We'll talk about that when we come back on Primetime Hustle. All right, we're back. Tarek, when you wrote the topic name for this segment, you just said Arnold Classic Surprise. So were you waiting for that surprise to materialize?
Which I thought it was going to be Martin Fitzwater winning the show.
Okay.
And I thought after what he did beating Samson in Prague, the young man was coming up. I looked at his pictures online. He was kind of being mysterious. And I said, he's coming up. He might come in and win the show. Do not be surprised. Boy, was I wrong. He did not win the show. I still love him. I still think he has great frame. I still think he has great muscularity. His conditioning in Prague was his best, but he just wasn't at his best. He placed fourth, and then I think he was emotionally so disappointed because he has such high expectations. What I want to talk about Martin Fitzwater is this. He's a great competitor, and he's a good kid. And I say this in a very loving way. When he lost in Texas to Andrew Jacked, he said something online, well, he looked like a box of chocolate milk, as if Andrew Jacked was watery. Then he had his battle with Nick Walker, and he was very passionate about telling people, I didn't think that I lost that show. Then he goes to Pittsburgh, and he has a disappointment. And in Pittsburgh, between prejudging and finals, he goes online and he posts, I want to apologize to everybody. I had a chance to talk to him between prejudging and finals. And I said, Martin, you don't have to do that. You don't have to apologize between prejudging and finals. And he goes, no, but I let my fans down. I let myself down. I said, like, first of all, the show's not over. You got to go back there, pose your heart out, and show people that you can still, be a champion. What I think is happening to Martin Fitzwater is he's putting a lot of pressure on himself to win shows, to beat Nick Walker, to win the Arnold Classic, to place better at the Olympia. And he has all the time in the world. He's just not in peace with himself right now. And he's expressing that in a way that's not positive. I sent a message to him right after the Arnold saying, I'm here for you. Here's my phone number. We talk on Instagram. And I let him know the internet is a fictional, deceptive world. People write stuff there that they don't mean. He's going to come back from this. But what I want from Martin is for him to understand that he's going to have a showing that's not his best. And he needs to be okay with it.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. He is, if he would have came in the way he looked in Prague, he would have been battling Andrew for the title. I said that a couple of times. I had him in second in my prediction. I had Andrew winning. I had Martin in second. Martin came out, and you could see immediately that he wasn't on. It's not like he was fat, but he was watery. And as he kept posing, he got worse and worse. And I don't even understand. This is my opinion, okay? I'm not a judge, but I've been in this sport a very long time. I don't understand how he even made first call out, because he wasn't as good as these guys. And I think my surprise of the show was Brandon Curry, who came in similar to his all-time best at 40 plus years old, improved quads. No, he's not 48.
Is he 40?
No. 41 or 42.
No.
Yeah, I'm not. Somebody can look
Google
that up.
you.
And Brandon should have been in the first call out. Look, again, for Martin, yes, Martin needs to learn how to let things bounce off of him.
Yeah.
You need to get like little thicker skin. And I remember, because I see things and stuff that he says and does that kind of reminds me of myself when I was younger. I would get mad at things. I would get mad at people with no face, with a fake name. There's no need for him to respond to these people online just because they said something that he didn't like. Because the more he does, the more he responds, the more people are going to come forward because they know they can get to you.
Yeah.
And you need to teach them and let them know that there's nothing you can do to get to me. That's how they let you leave you alone.
I've only experienced it a couple times, and only once in mass after something that was said last year. And I got to tell you, I'd like to think I have a pretty thick skin, but that volume of troll and hate, it's a lot.
Yeah.
And for a guy that has poured his heart into something, now I will give him the totality of what Martin's been through in the last year as far as his actions, like knocking the phone out of Giles' hand and just a lot of the. I think he's got two choices. Two choices is either grow the thicker skin, go through some maturity, realize what doesn't truly affect him, or turn wrestling heel, become the bad boy of the sport. And
no, that's not a good idea.
That's not a good idea. So there's only one choice.
Yeah.
And I really, really like the guy. I like Brett. I think they're just amazing guys. And I really want him to find that happy place in the sport, knowing that it is so, you're literally up there, as they say in entertainment, on a stage naked.
Yeah.
For all the world to judge. And this is literally where you're picking apart the symmetry between your top and your bottom and your left and your right and your front leg and your back leg. It is brutal to be parsed apart like that. And I just can't fathom at that level, you got to be emotionally prepared for it. And I want him to find that place so he can say, all right, now I can get down to business and bring my best to the stage.
He's still young, and he's going to learn. He's going to figure it out. It's just some people take a little bit longer. And at this point where he's at right now, he got so much backlash after the Arnold that I think he should take some time off from the internet.
Yeah.
Stay off the internet because there's nothing on there that can help you right now. There's no therapy on the internet. So stay off the internet. Stick together with the people that you love and that truly care about you, because that's the only thing that can help him. You know, and I think with time he will get better, and he will probably be the person that's going to explain the same thing to some younger competitor in the future, because he went through it and he can give some advice.
I want to mention 2 examples. Nick Walker, huge expectation at the Olympia. He places 6. And, you know, he doesn't go crazy. He kind of shuts down, goes back to the drawing board, has his best showing at the Arnold. In 2011, in Los Angeles, Santa Monica, we had a show called the Flex Pro. And Dexter Jackson was the clear favorite to win that show. Clear favorite. He goes in, shows up. It's Dexter, looks good, but we can tell is not his best. Evan Centopani comes in and wins that show. And Dexter places 2nd. After that show, I saw Dexter with Gail, his girlfriend, at the Cheesecake Factory. Dexter had a huge smile, and he was okay with the fact that this time it didn't go his way. That's where Martin needs to be. He needs to learn from Dexter Jackson, who's the most consistent bodybuilder of all times. This is a hell of a hard sport to be conditioned, to nail your physique every single time. Dexter hasn't done it. Ronnie Coleman hasn't done it. Jay Cutler. Lee Haney hasn't done it. It will happen to you, Martin, and you got to be okay with it because it's part of the sport.
Well, and before we go back to this, congratulations to Dexter Jackson at this year's Arnold Classic for his Lifetime Achievement Award. Well-deserved. A guy that had this many wins over that period of time, the longevity in the sport, his dedication, and a Mr. Olympia title.
Yep.
Phenomenal.
He's got all the titles.
Now, to your point about finding some relaxation time and gathering yourself, Andrew Jacked with Martin.
So Andrew Jacked sent a message to Brett Wilkins that he would be willing, after winning $750,000, to buy a vacation for Martin Fitzwater and his girl, because he's concerned about Martin Fitzwater's mental health. Mm-hmm. Well, I got problems too, okay? I got mental health problems too. Okay, Nico? My director will attest to it. Reggie, Carter, I got problems too. So if you want to pay me a vacation, I'm ready to go.
He was offering him a trip to Costa Rica, and I said, I'll push over Big Steve for a trip to Costa Rica with my wife. You kidding me?
I started sending nasty messages to Nick Walker, too. I said, man, where's Nick Walker so I can shove him around? But bottom line, it's nice to know that, you know, Andrew Jacked, who had been poked before by Martin, is reaching out and trying. He's a great champion. He's reaching out. Nick wants Martin to bounce back. Everybody wants Martin to bounce back. We're a great community. Bodybuilding is a great community. The judges are there for you. The promoters, the officials, the other bodybuilders are there for you. If you ever need help, reach out. Reach out because we would love to help you. I reached out to Martin. I'm going to continue to do that. When Derek Lunsford lost the Olympia, he was devastated. I reached out to him. Samson Dauda, he went from winning to placing 4th. I called him. I wanted to make sure he's okay. We are there for you guys.
I want to point this out as well, and I'm sure you'll both back me up. I was disappointed. I was disappointed in the fans. I was disappointed in the fans for not just going after him. I get that. But you would think we perceive ourselves as this alpha culture, we're wolves, we're dark sport, we're the kind of people that, you know, rise above it. They just didn't go after him and his physique and his actions and his words. They went after his sponsorships and flooded his sponsors with, you got to fire this guy or I'm never buying your protein powder again or your cream of rice. And that's just, you know, the sponsors did what they thought was right for their brand. But for a kind of culture that we have, to have a bunch of beefed up Karens in weight belts. I was really disappointed going after a kid's livelihood like that.
Yeah, I hate cancel culture. I mean, anybody, makes mistakes, and to take someone's livelihood away, basically, to the chance to make money to pay your bills is, for me, that's probably the worst thing that can happen to a person, which is definitely not helping. If you think someone has issues, mental problems, and you just cancel everything, what do you think you're going to do?
You're going to push him over
What
the
do
edge.
you expect him to do? Oh, yeah, thanks for letting me go. Now, what am I going to do now? So I think that was a little bit fast, even for the sponsors. They could have waited and let their thing, because, we all know whatever happens on the internet will die down in 2 weeks. Nobody's going to speak about it no more.
Yeah.
And, you should have a talk with him before you, drop a person for, Yeah, I mean, I understand from a sponsor's perspective, you want to make sure your guys are not in the negative light.
I have a flip side. There's another side to this coin. I get what you guys are saying, but a supplement company sometimes has 50, 60, 100 employees. And once your reputation is on the line, sometimes you need to make a choice. Maybe you drop a competitor and you retain all 100 employees, packaging the protein and doing all that.
Yeah.
Or you keep that person and then your sales go down, right? Because you're playing it cool, but now you got to look at about 6 people and say, hey, our numbers are not the same. I got to let you go. You know what I mean? There's that factor too.
I get it. But I could give you an example right now that I went through back in 2004. I had just literally placed 4th at the Olympia in 2003. I never really talk about this too much, but why not just say it right here? So and literally like the day after the Olympia, I signed a contract, a 3-year deal with Muscle Tech. Good deal. That was the best deal for me at that time. And then, unfortunately, some mistake happened. I didn't do nothing wrong, but something happened. I got into the press back there in Thailand, and, people thinking, the world ends. And I was immediately dropped, just based off a newspaper article that wasn't even true. No call, is this true or nothing. The only one that stuck to me and asked me was Joe Weider. He never dropped me because he asked me, did you have anything to do with it? I said, Joe, no. And he kept me on board. But I lost my Muscle Tech contract. That's why I feel for Martin right now. And then after everything was cleared, they tried to sign me again for half the money that they offered me before. And I respectfully declined, because at this point in time, there's no way me and you can do business together. So, but to make a long story short, I don't like cancel culture. I don't like it. If that was me and my company, yeah, maybe I would have let them go, but I wouldn't do it I wouldn't do it out in public for everybody to see right now. Look, we're going to put one on top. We're going to kick him while he's down.
And it feeds the Karens. It feeds the cancel culture and says, hey guys, your torches and pitchforks charging the castle did great. Keep up the good work. Your opinion matters. Yeah. And they didn't even let the dust settle, like Dennis said.
Because what did he do that was so bad? Yeah, it was unsportsmanlike. Absolutely, it was not professional. But what did he do to hurt the company name or whatever? He didn't do nothing. He just didn't shake someone's hand.
And he maybe shoved a guy, which,
we don't know that.
We don't know that.
We don't know that. I didn't see it. Nobody else saw it.
So I was thinking about it. He didn't shake hands with Nick. He doesn't have a contract to shake hands. Sometimes competitors, they get their names announced. They don't shake anybody's hand.
Bro.
They go straight there to get their award. He just skipped Nick. He's not obligated, but I can see how visually that doesn't look good. Then he went online and said, I hate Nick. Which, listen, legally, it's a free country.
What happened to freedom of speech?
You can say that. So Martin didn't do anything illegal. We don't know if there was the shoving. Apparently, people are still looking at it. If there was some shoving, then yes, I'm going to have to say, Martin, you should have never done that.
But that should be behind closed doors. If this was backstage, why is this out in the public?
Yeah.
That should have been discussed with the federation. There's no such thing as you shoving other competitors backstage. That's an internal thing. That shouldn't be out in public. But he didn't do nothing. I'm not condoning, I'm not saying this was the right thing to do. I mean, but I understand one thing. If I have a problem with you, I don't care who's standing around. I'm not shaking your hand. And I can understand that.
Yeah.
And the same thing is with the video where they're showing him celebrating Nick not winning. How do we know he celebrated Nick not winning? Maybe he celebrated because Andrew won. Maybe he was happy for Andrew. Who knows?
Yeah.
Why is someone in his face when they announce in second place? Why is a camera in his face? All those things are, for me, I don't understand. You know, you can make things a little worse than they really are. It's not professional, but this is all what I would do in this case. I would sit him down and we would have a straight talk for him to understand this cannot happen ever again. And that's it.
Well, be sure to share your thoughts on both Martin and Hadi. And, you know, one of the benefits we have here, guys, is that we have a sponsor that no matter how much trash we talk, doesn't leave our side.
Yeah. Whenever I'm upset with Tim Wilkins, he doesn't give me the credit that I need. I go to the gym, I work out arms, and I use my Pro Zero, zero sugar, zero fat, zero gluten. I want to be fast and speedy. So when I throw that left hook, I just knock the hell out of him. I recommend you get your Pro Zero from Global Formulas. We're going to leave the link right here, www.globalformulas.com. The coupon is TKGindy. That is GUINDY. Get your protein right now and prevail on stage. Back to you, Timothy.
Thank you, Tarek. And all their formulations are scientifically as tight as they can be for maximum absorption of the absolute best ingredients you can get. Check out all their stuff at Global Formulas. Dennis, it always flies by when you're here.
Quick, right? Quick. I feel the same, man. But it's a pleasure being with you guys, and I'm looking forward to doing it all over again.
Tarek?
Great. We're having some profound conversations because we care.
Absolutely, and we wish the best for all of our competitors, and we wish the best for all of you fans. Be sure to like, subscribe, and share this so that more and more people can join us in the conversation on Primetime Muscle. We thank you for this joining, and we'll see you on the next Primetime Muscle.